Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. It's a wonderful day to be here. It's a first full day in the presidency of Dr. William Ruto. To join me in a discussion, the gentleman who wrote a book not many years ago, maybe like a year or two ago.
A year.
A year.
Actually, it's 9 months.
It was called The Rise of a Hustler. We spoke barely a week ago, and now I'm talking to you as he's called BABIOR-AUTHOR. He's an author. We are talking about unpacking the Ruto dream that had became reality, and now he's here today as Prophet Babior.
Thank you very much.
Utafungua kanisa sasa?
Naona nikifungua injili.
Unaona ukifungua?
Na injili yangu ni ya hustler.
Ya hustler.
Huyu jamaa sio mara ya kwanza. Hata unakumbuka kitabu yangu ile niliandika 2017.
Yeah.
Ile ilikuwa inaitwa Raila Conspiracy. Ilikuwa it was just talking about what we had seen Raila had gone through.
Yeah.
And this one also has prophesied that the rise of a hustler, the hustler rose yesterday, and he is now the president. He's not the deputy president, not president-elect. And one thing which is making me feel that this is a very holistic moment is because Moses, who had wanted to move with Israel in Canaan, yesterday handed over to Caleb, who is William Samoei Ruto. There is a transition. In fact, now I want to go back to the Bible and read who Caleb handed over to.
Yeah.
We are going, and from the speeches of William Samoei Ruto yesterday, you could see that there were 15 points agenda, just as he said during this campaign. The gentleman is transcending and making Kenya the land of milk and honey in day one.
I hear you.
Fertilizer, tutapunguza. Alipunguza, hakupunguza.
Itachukua 1 week he hit the shelves.
Yes. This guy is going to be the best president.
So let's talk about the pluses.
Yes.
And what I would call the challenges.
Yes.
Because it's too early to judge, of course, the presidency of William Ruto. But let's talk about the outgoing presidents.
But on day one, you see, did what took Uhuru 2 years to do on day one.
On day one, there were those things. But one of the things on day one, and here's a challenge here,
yes,
was the challenge that's going to be happening today, which is the rise of fuel. How do you think they're going to change about going to deal with that? Because with the removal of subsidies, we are going to hit 200 plus.
Okay, something which I understand with William Ruto, even during the campaign, if you read the manifesto called The Plan, he had a clear way of dealing with the fuel crisis in the country. And whatever which is happening today, it is in the manifesto. That manifesto shows us how he's going to get the government resources on fuel levy and bring them into curbing that subsidy so that the fuel prices can stabilize and Kenyans can...
Yeah, because if we don't do that, doesn't matter how much unga is next week, it will rise again.
What I know
you
is...
Understand?
Yes, I understand. I understand because the fuel factor affects the manufacturing.
It does.
And manufacturing, it's a whole circle, right, in the economy. And he knows that one very well, and he is up to the task. I saw he has got in this job so much with a lot of pragmas and goodwill. He wants to really change Kenya. And I can tell you, even before today ends, he will give us there will be a breaking news.
Even I am waiting to hear that, because I said, well, maybe that can't be said, everything cannot be said there, but I expect there will be a discussion about it.
There is always, in leadership, there is always a president or a leader who moves his people from crisis to pragmatic level. I think William Ruto knows the job. He has been there. He is not somebody who is going to be held with cartels. He said when he placed the Bible down, he will actually engage cartel deeply.
Yeah.
Yes. So he knows that he knows what he's going to do, and I'm sure on this fuel matter, just give him 8 hours. He's gonna come on your TV, I think around 7, and give us a very surprising news. And you'll come to realize that might be most of the people we've had before, they were just joking with our lives. And together with that, the unga prices might be before the weekend will come down to 100 or 70. Because once the fuel crisis is affected and stabilizes, what follows is, why should you sell unga higher than the cost, higher than the cost of production? You get it?
Yeah.
And I will stabilize and say, and one thing that I also know, Levi, is that most of these companies which are doing manufacturing, most of them are not doing manufacturing with electricity. Electricity is a standby for them. If you go to a company like Bidco, for example, they don't use electricity at all. The electricity on the standby, they use trees chunks, right, to generate their own electricity, and then they use that one to create. So companies hiding on that to create a huge profiteering against Kenyans, so that Kenyans can suffer. I think those are things is going to work on. Companies creating high profit margin. And if you saw yesterday, the gentleman is up for the task, and this is the man that I wrote about, the rise of a hustler. Yes, yes.
I see. It was quite a good celebration yesterday. There were very many heads of states. I think almost about 20 of them.
Yes, and I saw also Dangote is around.
Yeah.
I think we should. We
should call him by his African billionaire.
Yes, African billionaire was around.
Dangote.
Aliko Dangote.
Yeah.
Alhaji
Richest
Aliko
man in
Dangote.
Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was there. I saw him. I think Aliko Dangote must, from what I see, he must. He likes Kenya, and he would really like to do something in Kenya. And he might be, probably, he has been looking for the right government. And I want to talk to Aliko Dangote and many other investors. This is the time to come and invest in this country. This is now a more politically stable country, a country which is going to respect law and order and respect investors and bring a lot of investments on board and sit with, because what we were discussing in the Big Four agenda, which is part of what President William Ruto was actually arguing about in that last regime. One of them is manufacturing. Manufacturing, that is what is going to create jobs in this country. And from what I read in the plan, if we have to unpack it, is that each county is going to have a manufacturing company, which is going to create jobs to the people in those counties. This is going to help us to fight rural to urban migration. And we are going to have an inroad economy, which is coming from the rural to the city. So the number of young men coming to the city is going to reduce very high, because there will be jobs in Kisumu, in Eldoret, in Mariakani, and those places. Yeah. Personally,
tell me, how do you feel about a book whose title you wrote, you wrote from chicken seller to presidency?
Yes.
Many months ago.
Okay.
That was a risk, because
it was a risk.
If it went the other way, these books ungeuza wapi?
Lakini umejua sisi tunakuanga na Mungu sana. Na Mungu yetu ni wa ajabu.
Kila mtu Mungu aliumba kila mtu bro. To imagine some people were not born, were not made by God.
Wako, lakini labda ni God na small g. Na labda pia hao jamaa wako na God Father. Lakini sisi tuko na God the Father.
God the Father. So
that
was a real, as a writer myself.
Okay, to me, I think
that was quite a.
It was a big risk, because one person told me that, why can you name this book The Rise and Fall of a Hustler?
So that would have been a terrible thing to do now, imagine.
Huh?
Yeah, you just have to believe in something and go for it.
I believed, okay, there's something which made me believe in William Ruto now fully 100%. Huh? The day when he went before Bomas and he stood there and he told everyone, actually the newspapers wrote William Ruto is going to meet the devils. He stood there and he told those guys in their faces. He told them, and the guys started booing. That day is when I took, seriously, I moved from 70% believing in William Ruto to almost 98%. I said, this is the man I want to follow. This is the man I want to now curate. This is the man I want to really study who he is. By that time, actually, I had written this book halfway. But the day after that speech, I decided that I'm going to write this book to the end. And then the title I will get later. So the day BBI decision was made, that is the day I gave this book the title. Because I knew now there is no any other way these people are going to gang up against the hustler, who is now the president. And I had seen with the precision, this person uses science so much. Precision that he had, there is no way that these people who were going to Ninumeja, najua watu wanakaanga mahali sana for a long time. Sisi tukiwa tunabudu, tunaanza kufanya zile vitu zingine. Wanakaanga around for a long time.
Do you think that now, given the fact that, Ruto has become president, everything is, has gone the right way for him. Of course, we expect that he'll name a cabinet really soon and get to work and, do all manner of things for the country in terms of outlining his agenda. I hear he's meeting his MPs very quickly in the next 2 days or so to try and sort out the issues of the House, the committees, the agenda for what's going to be happening in Parliament, because he needs that on his side. So, all out guns blazing. Do you feel like the social media wars that we have been having are going to die down for a while?
It is
because
good.
Kenyans like to complain, and assuming today fuel goes up, one of the first things you will see is a social media backlash. And we're not very patient people.
One thing that I know that is the reality now is that with William Ruto as the president, and of course Raila Odinga is now going to retire, the ingredient of the Kenyan politics is, even a play need characters, right? There are some characters, like Shakespeare say, world is a play where everyone play his role.
Yeah.
The role that Raila has been playing there of making your noise. He has just his own unique character, which has made politics also very interesting and contributing very fairly. And William now, when William was almost behaving like opposition leader, but is the DP, anasema watu tutawashinda mapema. Now also that juicy part is also gone for people who like literature. So now the William we are meeting is someone who coming on TV and announcing blah, 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 blah. Unga is, that is a very good announcement, but the light moments, we are going to work. So people who are always quoting for controversy to shine, they are not going to shine anymore. This is not time for people who like quoting, rising from controversy. They are not going to get an opportunity to shine. People are going to shine on work. Now, young people like us, unaweza pata pale kwa Ministry of Youth ni Levicons, PS ni BABIOR-Newton. The only thing that I would like to advise the president, the trickery part that he should not be quoted to get in, is to recycle people who have retired long time ago. That one should not happen.
I hope so too.
Yes, because unapata mtu alikuwa kwa Kibaki administration, ameserve ministers, head of public service, ako 70 years, ametolewa nyumbani,
they are called political fossils.
Amepelekwa football. Like, I am not afraid to say this, and if I would just like to name names, few names. Of late in Uhuru government, we saw people like Mudaura are being brought in. You get it? We want Mudaura and...
They said they required his expertise.
Yes. No, their expertise, Levi. Their expertise. You are more learned and more aware of the 21st century challenges. I'm not saying that we should not appreciate people like Mudaura who has contributed to our country, but we are not going to be happy to hustlers to sit back and wazee ndio wanakuja wanachukua position. We want young people to be given opportunity. I want BABIOR-Newton should be a diplomat being sent to go and negotiate things there. When will I get an opportunity? We don't want people who have been in CAC. There's somebody who is in the Anti-Corruption Commission. He has been recycled all over. You just recycle people. He has been recycled. So what we don't want is recycling these people. I want to see new faces, fresh, people who can work, people who don't have institutional procrastination and bureaucracy. Let us be given. You see, William Ruto's story is a graceful story.
Yeah.
It's a story of how God can use nobody. Like the way my book is saying, it is surprising how God has raised Ruto from a humble past to dine with kings. His inspirational story teaches us that every hustle matters. To dine with kings. Even us, we are kids. Our fathers are hustlers. We want to be given opportunity. And if he gives us opportunity, he keeps that graceful story rotating. He's now becoming a blessing to people. You get it? We want him to keep that vibe, the good vibe of Levi can actually become this. Babior, who is from Kisumu, who was just there fishing, doing what, can actually be called to Nairobi and become an administrator here. So that when I go back in the village, I also look for people who are from humble background and support them and remind them that you see this support that I brought here. If it were not for William Ruto, I would have not brought it here.
I hear you.
You get it? And you know, if it Ruto pia anasema pale kwa das, you know, me managing, being the president of the country is not by my power. It's by power of God. In one way or the other, we are passing down the power of goodwill down. And then Kenya becomes a country where people believe that everything is possible, anyone can do it. That is the spirit of Kenya we want to have. So, mimi nataka kuongea na wale watu wanafanya cabinet na kufanya hizo mambo za cabinet. We don't want to see old people. We request you. We request you. We don't want to see old faces. We want to see Kenyans who are new, we have degrees, we have papers. You get it?
You.
Yes.
Let's hope that happens, huh?
Yeah.
What did you think about the former president? It's interesting to call him that now.
Oh.
Uhuru Kenyatta.
Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yesterday.
Uhuru Kenyatta personally is someone I have never understood. For 10 years. I've never understood who he is.
Must have been not a very, maybe it was a painful day for him yesterday because this wasn't his choice. But he carried himself through it.
But one thing that I appreciated with Uhuru Kenyatta taught other presidents in Africa that your candidate may not win, but the Constitution, when you respect the Constitution, everyone wins.
Yeah, you hand over anyway.
And umejua ile kitu ya unasema unaenda na dem kwa nini kwa club, then unaona unakutana kadangote hivi pale Langasa. Unaona ana rotate the way the bodyguard rotated from Uhuru Kenyatta to William Ruto. It was something which the moral lesson we learned there is that nothing in this life is permanent.
And I think for me the moral lesson is more so that it's how when people are having, like, we have ministers sometimes, they have 2 or 3 parados, and so many people chasing on the road and stuff. I think sometimes people forget when they're in power that the reason why a lot of things are happening around them isn't because of them.
Yes.
It's because of the power.
Yes.
So when the power leaves you,
Yes.
those things leave you immediately.
Immediately. Now I can tell you, there were those people who used to call.
The people should not take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Looking at looking at the story of Bitang and Demo.
Yeah.
I read a certain very horrifying story.
I read that story too.
About Bitang and Demo. The way his phone call stopped ringing.
Stopped ringing. Yeah.
I can tell people who are big-headed in this government, in that government of Uhuru Kenyatta, people like Matiang'i, that from today going onwards, there are some phone calls.
At which points you're going a whole half day.
There are some phone calls they are not gonna see.
No one has called you.
Yes, there are some phone calls they are not gonna see, and those phone calls were coming because of goodwill that they had in government.
Yeah, and the power, position.
And power and position. So sometimes it's good to be humble and do things. The only person who I think maybe people misunderstood much in Uhuru's government was Magoha.
Yeah, he didn't seem so amused yesterday about the CBC story.
Magoha is someone who I think people misunderstood, but he does his job.
He meant well.
Yeah, but the only thing which may have happened.
Yeah.
Pia hiyo CBC imefanya wazazi wanafanya homework sana.
I've seen an article here that's saying, you know what? That's saying, and I have one CBC, young person in my house. So I've also done those things.
Unafanya homework, bro?
Hey, boss.
Endelea kufanya homework. Sisi tunaungana na nyinyi hapo. But what do you think?
Kuna siku tumeitisha seedlings sijui
macadamia.
Sasa unashangaa. Na unajua ni usiku.
Kwani unataka kuwa wa jungle? Macadamia.
Na ni usiku alafu unasema sasa hivi tu. Sasa mtu ataenda kutoa hivi tu wapi?
Ukaleta seeds za mahindi.
And they needed by
the following.
The other day we were told to teach a song, a folk song. Okay, there are some that are not too bad. You can do it so easily. But there are some.
But one thing that I like with CBC,
like if they ask you for the feather of a chicken and you are living in a flat.
Can I ask you a question?
Where you are not seeing them live.
Do you think CBC should be moderated and retained, or should be replaced? I'm
going by this particular. I like this. It says, "Don't kill CBC, fix it."
Yes, that is also my point. Do you know why?
I agree with it.
Do you know why?
Let's fix it.
Do you know why? Why I like CBC personally? Yeah. You see, this book would have not been realized if my literature teacher didn't who was teaching me. He's the one who invented me. He's the one who told me that I can become a good writer. So this teacher told me that after you leave high school, go and look for a place where you can train and become a writer. But when I left high school, there was no place like that. I went to YouTube University. That is where I studied how to write books.
Yeah, YouTube University is quite something.
So CBC is curing that. Parents may find it very, very painful, but in the end, CBC is going to give you the child you want, the son you want, the industrious person. Look where my entire life has been defined with my writing career. Everything that I own, all the friends that I have in high places, they were brought to me because I interacted with them, or they first knew me through my writing. I am now here because I've written this book, right? So CBC is a good career. Let us just fix it. Let us not replace it with any other career. We want Kenya, which is like Korea. I went to Korea in 2019, and I found a 14 years old had developed a gadget in a science expo. A gadget which had a tin, which was having a tin inside it, which, you see, the way you pour water and come to work, that gadget will tell you how contaminated your water is, if it's clean. When you just leave it there, it will just, when you come and start drinking it after 6 hours, it will tell you the water is contaminated. These are 14 years old. Why? Because those countries have embraced CBC and have funded CBC of their country in Korea to grow. That is why we want, the next thing we want the government to do is to fund CBC, to fully facilitate CBC so that it is working. If there's something that parents may not provide, because not all kids come from same background.
Yeah.
When they go back at school, a teacher will find 2 or 3 samples to teach them that this is how mosaic look. If this mosaic clay, it can be used to create this 3D. This is how 3D computer looks. This is how it works. So from that point, kids start growing, they know 3D. They know coding.
Yes.
With the time, we will have 3D builders, people who have done developed machine. CBC is innovation-based practice, and we should embrace it. I am kindly requesting the President, William Ruto, don't remove CBC. Don't remove it. 844, our parents do.
Well, he said there's going to be public participation about it, so
yes.
People will give views.
Yes.
And then Kenyans will decide whether,
You know 844, the way it used to happen?
this goes that way or the other.
By the way, you did 844?
I did 844, yeah.
844, your parent will only see your report form at the end of 4 months.
Yeah, 844
is when you are sitting. So you have been getting, somebody who has been getting maths 90%, and Kiswahili, like where I come from, they are not good in Kiswahili. Kiswahili might be E, is when the parent is seeing after 4 months. How much damage has happened? But CBC is creating a situation whereby you are meeting with a child every evening.
Yeah.
And it is even bringing parents together with their kids.
Yeah, well, a decent interaction is good.
And
I like
it's also making the kid to gauge the parent.
And also I like the fact that it's not just about books.
Yes.
Because, not all of us are book smart. There's too much focus on getting A's.
Yes.
And if you don't score very high marks, it doesn't look like your life is going to be,
let us be sincere.
We over-focus on that. Yet, we forget that their skills.
Let us be sincere.
Yeah.
Some of us, or myself, I didn't get an E.
No, I didn't either.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want to start saying that I am here because I was a genius in school. Yeah. I wasn't. Right?
Yeah, sure.
I was
when my daughter was in Form 2, Form 3. When she was in, one time she got a 20 in maths. And I pulled out my, me, I have a lot of records, including my own.
Yes.
When I was in high school.
Yes.
I showed her. The other time I scored an E2.
Yes.
I told her, but this is not the end of the world.
Yes.
It's how you bounce back from.
You get it.
But I know, like me growing up, and many parents do not want to say.
Yes. Many parents. When I became number 1, my father started saying he was also becoming number 1.
Many parents do not tell their children, let's stop here. This happens. Tell me book-wise speaking.
Yes.
Now that you're umeandika kitabu ya rais. Hey, my friend, kitabu ya rais.
Ni kubwa. Umejua pia nyinyi mmenipea title kubwa sana sasa. Umejua, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing about my life.
Yeah.
The moment William Samoei
The
moment William Samoei Ruto won the election. The moment William Samoei Ruto became the president. My phones were ringing. Even right now, it's on the aeroplane mode. Then, I went to social media and I changed my name to be biographer of president-elect.
Sasa ni biographer of president.
Tukakuwa na Supreme Court, tukakuwa na Pinky Ponky hapo for 14 days. Nilikuwa na stress. Ungeniona, ungefikiria mimi ndio jina yangu iko kwa hiyo ballot. Nilikuwa na stress sana.
September 5th ya Supreme Court ruling wewe ulikuwa pale.
Mimi sikuona hiyo kitu live. Sikuwa nataka kuona hiyo kitu live. Niliambia wale watu wanaona live.
Niambie tu.
Mniambie imekuwa aje. Tunaenda 60 days ama na umejua pale mali naishi. Matiang'i ni jirani yangu, no, not Matiang'i. Chebukati ni jirani yangu tu hapo. Na nikasema Matiang'i wewe. Lakini ilikuwa mzuri. Then now the coming to the question you've asked me, the responsibility is too much. People believe that I'm actually when the President William Ruto was leaving State House, they believe that I talked to him like on a speed dial.
We don't. I was imagining after this tunaenda huko lunch.
Okay.
At 20?
Umejua yule ni president bwana. Umejua yule ni president. Hata kama ni rafiki yako, lazima hawezi tu ovyo. Umejua sasa ofisi. Lakini najua the president will call me. Na he's a good guy. He's someone who never forgets people. The only thing which has happened to me is like I am like someone who went to Harvard school and is not in Harvard or where Harvard people are. Asiniwache nje jameni. Nitakani kama wasemi hata wakina nani walisoma Lenana nini Mangu si ndio hawana hata kazi. There will be some certain stigma if I don't get inside that pool of governors, because people now expect much from me. Then Kisumu, where I came from, in our home, they're starting to ask me, have you talked to the president?
The skies will open.
And
are you going to write one about the presidency?
I will see how it's going to go.
Maybe you should talk to Ruto and write his book.
You know me, before I write about you, I have to like you.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Yes, I have to like you as an individual.
I don't. I could write about it.
Me, before I write.
You want to be passionately invested in the story.
You know, I was asked a question the other time with a friend that when you're doing this book, does it also mean that you are supporting this person politics? People used to try and tell me, just write the book but don't support his politics. But I told him there is no way. The life about this person is the politics.
But you wrote about Raila.
Yes. I was supporting Raila by then.
Oh, so it was just a question of switch.
Yes.
You know, I always believe
I was supporting Raila then until he went for handshake.
I always believe for former presidents like Uhuru Kenyatta, you know, it would be very sad if they go without giving us a book.
I
think a lot of history, and not just him. There's a lot of people who have been in high places, in corridors of power. You know, like yesterday I was watching that thing, and I was watching the president's William Ruto get now into his new Land Cruiser as he left. And I wondered what was the conversation with his driver in that cruiser.
Now they will come after 50 years and even give us calls.
I thought one day, many years ago,
president's
of course now it's privileged and all that.
Yeah.
But one day, those are the kind of books we would love to read.
Can I tell you something, Levi? I have a small company called Biography Inc.
Yeah.
We are doing an edition called Biography Series. We are giving these people opportunity to talk to us, to document their lives in a book like this. If they can't write, we can write it for them. Because if you look at US, American president, Bill Clinton has now written around 17 books.
I've read his books, by the way.
Now, there is even
quite a good writer.
Yes, he's a very good writer. And he believed that in his life, he has a story to tell until the day God will take him. There's a story which he did called Back to Work. Live my life. My life is the main biography. Bill Clinton writes books after every 2 years. Last year, he had a program called Masterclass, which was teaching people how to become a good leader. These guys should write, like now President Kenyatta, if I have to advise him, he should write books. He should go and construct a library.
He should.
Where all the President Kenyatta things, same way like what has been done here in the city at Uru Gardens.
Hasn't been. Is it open, by the way?
It has not been open. So you need to do
those. I always did say, well, I would like to go and see.
I've never entered there.
Have you been to the archives? National Archives?
Yes. I've seen. You see, like, kind of.
How many Nairobians have not been to the National Archives?
Every time when I want to write a book, any book, like story about William Ruto, they are declassified information and they are classified information which they can't give you.
Yeah.
They are at the Kenya National Archives. If I wanted to know what William Ruto was doing in the 1990s, when he got in parliament. I went to Kenya National Archives for 3 months. Every time when I'm writing a book, I must go through Kenya.
And you can even Google the Hansard, for example, for like parliamentary talk.
But you see that place, you find fresh things, written notes, signed notes.
Oh, you do, yes.
Letters. Yeah. Even when President William Ruto was going to be impeached, when he was sometimes after the grand collusion.
Yeah.
You could see all letters, the impeachment notes, the speaker, the former speaker had written this, Farah Maalim replied this, all those.
Actually, I went to the archives. You're very right. I went to the archives and spent a whole day there.
Then something that we also want to happen, Levi.
Yes.
We want a legislation to be passed so that governors who are living, you know, the Kenya National Library used to buy books.
Yes.
Right? Which was a national. But after the devolution, that functionality was taken to devolved system, counties. We want governors, when they are leaving, they are doing something like a library to give back to the society, passed by law.
True.
Same with the president when they are leaving. We want something to remember Uhuru Kenyatta, where if we go to that library, we can get everything about Uhuru.
True.
Look at what Obama is doing in Chicago. Big stuff.
True.
Big stuff.
It's how future generations can know, because, like you say,
because we want to reserve history.
Because even for Uhuru Kenyatta, you know, love him or hate him, the true testament of his judgment doesn't come now.
Yes, with time.
Yeah, it's 10, 20 years from now is when people look back and say, the way that period was either good or bad, or this was, you know, in the fullness of time. Some things may not be so harsh on him, and some things might.
Yes. So, personally, I need Uhuru Kenyatta to go to, even if it is Gatundu or somewhere in Kiambu, do a nice, magnanimous library.
I don't think he's going to. He just went, you know, I just passed by the State House this morning, outside actually. Okay, that sounds like I went through, I just passed my State House.
Yes.
And my wife and I were laughing. Because he just walked across the compound. Those people who are saying anaenda, Isaweri might be shocked. The guy that was walking up breathing State House air. Pengine hata wakipika huko State House chapati atasikia kumepikwa chapo huko.
Is in the neighborhood.
This is the first time we have a president in the neighborhood. But also the first time where a former president is very young.
Former president. And that, do you know what that means?
So that's a good thing for
him. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
If you read this book, there is a place where I predicted that now Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, after the election, will join something called the Big Brother. The Big Brother are people who have served in politics. The Jerry Rawlings when he was in Ghana. You know Jerry Rawlings when he was in Ghana after he became president, he retired so young, huh? He went and occupied the Big Brother. Atta Mills, Kufuor, Jerry Rawlings, that is Ghana.
So you join them. Well, I've been told to take a quick break.
Yes.
We need to work on your sound kidogo.
Thank you.
And then we'll be right back after this message. Don't go away.